Question. Should I let my sage go to flower, which it looks like it's about to do any day, or should I pinch off all the flower heads? Let me know in the comments below. Hello and welcome back to my garden. Today we're going to be doing planting, quite a bit of planting. I have a whole cart here full of plants ranging from snapdragons to a Japanese something or other, to Gomphrena, to Sweet Williams, Nicotiana, to, yeah, there's a lot of plants in my cart here. So without further ado, let's go start dropping these in place. The cars. Soph, come, stay close. Hi, how are you? Hello. One of the many plants that I wanted to grow this year was Sweet William Dianthus. I believe it's, in my area, it's a tender perennial, maybe, or biannual, something along those lines. I'm not sure. But I know I did want to grow it, and I grew a lot of it. So I had no idea what was going to grow, what wasn't going to grow, and from my understanding, it is a low-growing bedding plant, so it's best to use at the front of the bed. If that makes, if I'm correct, I think. If I'm not correct, please leave those comments below, let me know. But I'm going to plant up a bunch of Sweet William right here in the front of this bed with the hopes that eventually it starts to fill in and spread a bit. Right over here I have Pink Goblin Veronica. That will probably start flowering in the next month or so, maybe sooner. I'll drop another one right over here. I don't want to plant it so close to the edge. Tuck that right in there. One of the mistakes I've made in the past, which I'm going to try to avoid this year, is not interplanting with my bulbs. So I'm going to stop. She sees the neighbor across the street. So I'm going to try to interplant here a bit. These were daffodils right here. And take this Sweet William here. And I'm just going to pop it in right here. Add a bit more compost to the space. Later in the spring, I'll probably come back and do some mulching just to help cover up some of the spots that do appear in the mulch. I thought I had another Sweet William. My bad. But that's okay. Right here I have a mum. So this Sweet William right here should help fill in this area here with the daffodils. We'll pull more of these flowers out here. And then I have a mum right here, which surprisingly survived the winter. So I think right behind the mum, or in between these two mums here, I'm going to plant a Gomphrena. Gomphrena is one of the other plants I wanted to plant this year. This is the Globioso mix that I planted up earlier this year. Started from seed. Never grown Gomphrena before. So this will be first time here. I can push some of that mulch back. And hopefully that'll add a little bit of height. I believe the Gompphrenas get 1 to 2 feet tall, if I'm not mistaken. I mentioned in a prior video all these little white flowers you see, that's false allium. It's a grass-like weed. Just one of the banes of my gardening existence here. And we're going to put another Gomphrena here. There we go. Try to place my knee someplace where I won't crush plants. Alright, I'm going to put one right here. Sophie, I've got one more Gomphrena here to plant out. You may have remembered, if you've been watching the channel for a bit, that I wanted to try to do more planting, fill in a lot of holes, not little clumps of 2s or 3s, but bigger mass plantings. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this will be number 7 of this Globioso mix, and we're going to put it right over here. So I have like a nice little drift right in here. There you go, move that there, move my big fat knee. And now I have to decide where I'm going to plant the next plant, which I think is going to be right here. I could plant it a little further off to the side, but again, I'm trying to do denser planting and I'm trying to cover as much ground as possible. So theoretically, the theory is if you do denser planting, and I've heard this, several gardeners mention this before, there's less chance for light to get into the weeds and less chance you have weeds. I don't know how true that is here in my garden because I have a lot of weeds, but we are going to try some denser planting. And I've got this gap right in here. Drop some more compost in. And now I'm going to have a problem, I think, getting these out. Let's see. I have a tool for this. Hold on. Knowing that I was going to be trying to grow more in terracotta pots, I went out and got this metal icing knife, little spatula knife here. Basically just acts as a miniature pot knife and allows me to loosen whatever's growing in the terracotta pot out. That's one of the downsides to terracotta pots, is that things stick to the side, plants stick to the side. What I'm planting now, I don't know if I've mentioned this, is the Bride Gara. Is that how you pronounce it? Gara? I don't know. How do you guys pronounce it? And what I'm going to do here is a clump of 3. Because that's all I have. Actually, I have 3 more, but they're very small. So we will see how they grow on, and maybe I will plant them out here or I'll put them someplace else. We will see. But for now, all 3 of these are planted, and I can push back some of this pine bark mulch. The mulch that I use here, the pine bark mulch, it's just to help retain moisture in the soil here because we get incredibly hot down here in eastern North Carolina, growing zone 8B now. So I think that's it for this area. Let's go to the next one. Last year, I planted a Sweet William right here. Somehow, amazingly, it survived the winter. We had kind of a cold winter, so I'm going to plant up right in this whole front area more Sweet William. Now I have a couple of different varieties, and the ones I'm planting today I think are just the regular, I think they're naturally purple. And then there's other variations, which I have a couple other variations, which I don't know if I'm going to be planting today, but eventually I will, and you guys will see them hopefully if they go to flower this year. So it looks like I have a baby one right here too, so maybe I will put this one a little further. No, I got an allium coming up over here. So right here I have alliums. Right here I have Dutch Master daffodils, but they've already gone over. Maybe what I'll do, because remember I said I wanted to try to put something into place and not leave a blank spot. So let's see if I can't stick one right in the middle. I think I can. Put a label there to let me know when it dies what was there. Hello, Sophie. There you go. Tuck that in. So now theoretically, well, Sophie, I think you're blocking the shot, but the Sweet William will grow here. And hopefully next spring, the Dutch Masters will push up through the Sweet William if it's still there in some sort of shape or if it dies back completely for the winter. I'm gonna put another Sweet William here, a little bit more compost. There we go. Now I am planting these a little bit away from the edge because if I'm not mistaken, they get to something like 12 by 12. I probably am wrong, I often am. But I really don't want it overhanging the edge too much, if it does at all, because then as I'm weed whacking, I'd hit the plant, and I really don't want to hit the plant, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And one more. I think I'm still in shot here. So right in front of me, I have several more Dutch Master daffodils. They've all gone over. I have a black-eyed Susan right here, but right behind here, I have 2 rose campions. If you guys have never grown rose campion, well, I'll let you know what happens if they flower this year. They didn't flower at all last year, but they have survived. I have 3 examples right here, and they're doing well. Over here, a Panama Red Bee Balm. That one's looking good. There we go. So we will see if any of these Sweet Williams really grow this year. Now last year was very, very dry. The heat and the drought may have prevented a lot of this stuff from growing or growing to the size or as it should have. So we'll see. We're supposed to get some rain tomorrow, so that'd be Friday when you guys are watching this. And then I think the following Friday possibly, but so far this year we're already off to a better start with a little bit more rain than we had last year. Last year I tried growing some columbine right where my knee is, and that didn't quite work out so well. Right here, I did a video previously on my spring garden tour, and I showed you guys my peonies look like they're all getting ready to flower, which is extremely strange because normally after division and propagation and moving, they won't flower for like 3 years, maybe 4 years. But I've got buds, and a lot of them look like they're ready to pop. So probably in the next week or two, they'll be popping open. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, give a follow on Instagram. I'll often post pictures there that you won't see here on YouTube. I will try to post up some pictures over on the community tab page, or posts now as it's called, on the YouTube site, my YouTube homepage there. We got some Dutch irises opening up there. We've got another Dutch iris here that's getting ready to open. These are summer drummer alliums. Right here, these are licorice white agastache. And I think right in here, I'm going to be planting up Jasmine nicotiana, or tobacco, whatever you guys want to call it. These are self-seeding, so they might want to become a bit of a bully in this area, but that's okay. I'll deal with that versus nothing growing or the area being bald. The real awesome thing is that when they flower, which is usually at night, they open up at night, incredible jasmine smell. So I think it'll be nice to have out here, so as I'm walking Sophie in the middle of the night, there'll just be this wonderful jasmine waft of just awesomeness as I walk Sophie past the area. But it has also these big nice leaves on it. I don't know if you guys can tell that. And my hope is that, let's see, we're gonna have to use that knife again. There we go, just to help loosen that up. There we go, there's one. My hope is that those big leaves again will help suppress any and all weeds and also add just a little something to the area nicer to look at than mulch. Again, I'm trying to squeeze these sort of in between some of these spring flowering bulbs. Otherwise, you wind up with those blank spots. And again, I've learned this the hard way. Do you guys grow things in terracotta pots? Have you started seeds in terracotta pots is really what I meant to say. If you have, let me know in those comments below. Always love hearing from you guys. There we go. One of the plants I did grow over here last year, and I have seen no sign of it coming back up, is chocolate chip tobacco. It's a variety of nicotiana tobacco. I don't see any signs of it poking back up. I think it was where that peony is, but we will see if it does pop back up. So I planted a total of 5 plants. They should fill in the space nicely. I do have a little bit of a blank spot right here, but there's always more plants to plant out. So I think that's it for this section. I think the next one is down by the bench. Right back here, I have a Thailand giant elephant here. Now, I haven't seen it start come up yet. It's right behind Sophie there. And right here in front of me, I have rose mint agastache. And right here, I have a root cutting from a Japanese Honoré Jobert anemone. So Japanese anemone, Honoré Jobert. I'm going to plant it right here. It should fill in quite nicely. Now this spot will get a lot of morning sun, but it should be pretty well shaded from the afternoon sun. So what are you doing? What are you doing? You are stealing the show here. So I think the Japanese anemone would do well here. Worst case scenario, it suffers, it doesn't look like it's doing well. I either A, kill it, or B, I dig it up and move it if I catch it in time. So let's get this planted, right, Sophie? It's gonna go right where your feet are. Let's add some compost to the space. I'm gonna put the tag right over here, Soph. There we go. There we go. Tuck you right in. Pull back some of that mulch. I know it's probably hard to see because Sophie here is wanting to hog the camera. Let's see if I can get a close-up with my phone. Right here is the Japanese anemone. And it's small, still small, but we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. Hopefully, it does survive, and hopefully it thrives. And it fills in this space quite nicely. In the meantime, there's still more to plant. Alrighty, so right here, I have a raspberry wine bee balm. One of the things I've noticed with bee balm, and I didn't know this until after I planted it and started growing, is it grows and spreads from the mother plant. The mother plant was right here, and as you can see, it's spreading out, which is okay. I can always dig these up, move them elsewhere, recombine them, but I'm pretty happy with where they are right now. My one and only daffodil right here next to my crepe myrtle now. This spot will get some early morning sun. It'll be shaded. We're about midday now, but figure it'll be starting to go in shade probably in the next hour or so. And then it'll get a lot of afternoon shade. I'm gonna plant these 3 Monaco orange snapdragons right here just to sort of fill in the space. Where I am is eventually going to be a hedge. So this is the back of the flower bed. As you can see, I don't know if you can see here by my knee, I have a very small sprinter boxwood which survived the winter. It's going to take many years for it to get to the 4-foot height that I wanted at. So in the meantime, I think this will be nice to look at if these survive and grow and thrive. Having these nice orange snapdragons, a little cluster right here. Have learned that snapdragons do pretty well here. They kind of seem to like the heat. They tolerate it. So again, a little clump of the Monaco orange snapdragon right there. Hopefully they all survive, thrive, put on a little height here, which would be nice. The bee balm, I do believe, gets to about 1.5 feet, 2 foot tall, roughly. Okay, so my battery camera died. I'm not exactly sure what point. I did go back and look at the video, and it looks like I was just about to start planting. So instead of me showing you planting all over again, what I planted up front here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more snapdragons. These are the Newport pink variety. So hopefully they all grow, thrive, and maybe even flower this year. That would be spectacular. Behind them, I planted a variety of snapdragon I had grown before or bought as a plant and grew it. I had 3 of them and they did quite well, and they've all died this past year, I think it was, they died. Either way, it's Rocket Orchid Snapdragon. If memory serves me correctly, they're pink flowers. Now, if you guys had remembered, or if you're new to watching the channel, I had planted a bunch of Tetra Mix Snapdragons over there, and then sort of behind them towards the back over here, I planted tall Snapdragons or tall maximum Snapdragons. This whole end of the bed right here is just going to be a lot of Snapdragons. There's going to be some Sweet Williams up front. Right here next to me, I have Mount Everest Allium. Puts out these nice white heads. And then I have Gladiolas towards the back, along with Cana and Red Hot Pokers behind me. So this portion of the bed is pretty much planted out. It's fully planted out, I believe. We will see what grows, what thrives, and what survives. There's one more thing I want to do that I just saw while we're out here. Right here are my Apollo Dutch irises. They all pretty much look like this. It's white with yellow. I think I mentioned in a previous video, I thought there was some blue in there. The white leaves are sort of tinged blue a little bit. Unfortunately, you've missed the show. One of the things I want to do with this space, this corner, is try to interplant some plants, because as you can see, these guys are all done flowering. So they're going to be going to seed. What I'm going to be doing is just cutting off all of these flower stalks. And this way, hopefully the plant puts more energy into its bulb and its roots, and then next year there'll be even better display. This is the theory that I'm going with. I'm going to leave this one just because I can. Let's go clean up. I now have a lot of these pots to reuse, which is good because I was pretty much out of seedling pots. And I've also gotten back a bunch of planting tags, which is also a good thing. It's a lot today. I've been out in the garden for a couple hours now, even though this video won't be a couple hours, hopefully when I'm done editing. But as you can see here from the bench, we've only cleared out a little bit of space. I still have 3 more Nicotianas here that I want to plant out someplace else. I think I'm going to put them in the front house beds. Not sure where yet. There's Batoni divisions that I have that are growing on. Probably won't plant them out for another few weeks at least. I have cone flowers, which are going to take another few weeks. I have yet more snapdragons. I have daisies here. I have black-eyed Susans. There's a mum up here. Behind me here, I have Agapanthus and more Red Hot Poker. The Red Hot Poker I'm not going to be planting out this year. I'll actually be giving it all away to friends, families, that kind of jazz. But I have a bunch of Agapanthus, which I probably will plant out this year someplace. Yeah, so we just scratched the surface today, even though it seemed like I did a lot of planting and filled in a lot of those empty gaps. There's still a lot to plant out. In the upcoming week or two, I'll be starting to plant out here in the vegetable garden. I actually already have a few things growing in the vegetable garden, which I'll touch on when I do that planting, because my peas, which are probably the newest thing that I've planted, are not growing that fast. That could be for various different reasons, but hopefully they do start taking off in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully I can get a crop of peas before it starts getting too hot. I have tomatoes to plant out, I have beans, cucumbers, squashes. I've got my in-ground bed whole area that I've sort of already, I think, did I leak it already? I think I've leaked it already. We're going to be doing flowers like zinnias and other flowers that the deer will definitely eat here in the vegetable garden, where deer do not encroach in on, even though they could easily jump my 4-foot fence. But I'll talk more about that when I start planting out into the in-ground beds. There's a lot going on, as always. I'm sure that you guys are busy in your gardens too. There's, I think, 1 or 2 of you that I follow on Instagram, and it's really fun and exciting to watch almost those daily photos come in and see how your gardens are evolving, or what's changing, or what's growing now at this time of year, wherever you may be. And of course, thank you all for watching. There's a bunch of new subscribers to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you for watching. It's so much better than me sitting out here talking to myself, which probably looks really weird to the neighbors. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a new video. Feel free to share out my videos to friends, families, loved ones, grumpy old guy across the street. Check out all the links below. You guys know the drill. YouTube's been around for a while. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.